Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3 FY21 earnings conference call of Time Technoplast, hosted by ICICI Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on a touch-tone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Jigar Shah from ICICI Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rutuja. On behalf of ICICI Securities, I welcome all to the conference call of Time Technoplast to discuss Q3 FY21 results. From the management, we have with us today Mr. Anil Jain, Managing Director, Mr. Bharat Wageria, Director Finance, Mr. Sandeep Modi, Senior VP Accounts and Corporate Planning, and Mr. Hemant Soni, Head Legal and Company Secretary of Time 2. I would now request Mr. Anil Jain to start the call with his opening remarks, and then we can proceed with Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you all. I first apologize for not being present in the last conference, being unwell, but I'm happy to be here together. I have with me Mr. Bharat Wageria, as has been announced already. In addition to Mr. Bharat Wageria, we also have our Director of Marketing, Mr. Raghupati Tyagarajan. Right? The rest you have heard, Sandeep is there, and Mr. Hemant Soni. We are here essentially to talk about our results for Q3 and 9 months of FY21 and outlook for the rest of the year. The results are already announced, but I will just walk you through quickly some of the key financial and operational highlights. We are pleased to report a quarter-on-quarter improvement in the performance. This is in line with our stated outlook of an improved performance in the second half of the current financial year. The reason for this is that probably comparison with the same quarter last year is not much relevant due to COVID and its effect on the company's performance all across. During Q1 FY21, net sale was 475 crores, which increased to rupees 744 crores in Q2 FY21. So therefore, there was a substantial increase from Q1 to Q2. Now from Q2 to Q3, it further increased from 835 crores. Right? So in Q3 it was 835 crores. EBITDA stood at rupees 54 crore in Q1 FY21, which increased to 93 crores in Q2, and in Q3 it is increased to 113 crores. EBITDA in percentage terms improved from 11.4% in Q1 to 12.4% in Q2 and 13.5% in Q3. Profit after tax was rupees 25 crores in Q2 FY21 against a net loss of rupees 12 crores in Q1. In Q3, it increased to rupees 38 crores. Cash profit was 26 crore in Q1 and rupees 63 crores in Q2, and it further increased to 78 crores in Q3. So as you see here, there has been an improved performance from Q1 to Q2 to Q3. Probably it will be reflected in 9 months period, which are though not comparable with the corresponding year last year, but still the performance numbers are given here. During 9M FY21, corresponding to 9M FY20, net sale stood at rupees 2,055 crores as against rupees 2,660 crores. EBITDA in 9 months this year is 260 crores as against rupees 382 crores in the 9 months of last year. PAT at rupees 51 crore, it was 131 crores in the last year, and cash profit of 167 crore as against 254 crores of the last year. So this, considering that 9 months include Q1 and Q2 where the performance was far behind, we find that net sale in the first 9 months has seen a degrowth of 23%. In India it was 26%, and in overseas it was lesser, that is 16%. Volume degrowth was 23% in 9 months. India it was 26%, and overseas it was 16%. EBITDA degrew at 32%, and cash profit 34%. In 9 months FY21, the EBITDA margin is 12.6% as against 14.4% in the corresponding period last year, and down by 180 basis points. Net profit margin decreased by 200 basis points, that is 2.5%, as compared to 4.9% due to low volume and fixed overhead costs, that is salaries and wages. So the turnover being less, the fixed cost went up in percentage terms. In terms of established and value-added products, the value-added products grew by 19% in 9 months of 21 as compared to 9 months 20 as compared to 9 months of 2020 on account of lockdown due to COVID-19. The share of value-added products was 21% of the total sale in FY20 as against 20% in 9 and 2020. Share of Indian and overseas business in the 9 months 21 was 67% and 33% overseas as against 70% and 30% in FY20 due to lower effect of COVID in our overseas operations. EBITDA margin in India and overseas are 12.7 and 12.5% respectively. The total debt in 9 months reduced by 23 crores and stood at rupees 809 crores. This being the outline of our performance, I would be happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Ashi Anand from IME Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Good evening, Mr. Jain, Mr. Vagheria.
How are you?
Doing very good. Thank you. Sir, I just wanted to understand firstly, when we're speaking of the COVID impact, is this a supply side issue or is it a demand side issue that we're facing? Because, on the demand side, a lot of our end user industrials have actually been growing quite well and they've actually are growing year on year post kind of COVID. So just wanted to understand, is it supply side or demand side that is kind of causing the degrowth?
I think it was a bit of a both actually, because it took us time to stabilize our operations, considering that we are labor intensive, and suddenly we didn't have enough people available to be able to meet out the orders of the customer. But on the other hand, you would find that even our customers had the same problem. They didn't have enough labor, there was logistic problems, or even their distributors had enough stock, so they delayed receiving new consignments. So it was an entire chain which was clogged and choked down, but we now can see it opening up and the demand is getting back to normal. Of course, in some products, for example, auto components, we had a situation, as you know, that we service commercial vehicles were still coming back to normal. We see that the pipe was our worst affected business, PE pipes, because the contractors did not take the delivery of the pipes, though we had enough order. The reason being that they didn't have enough labor at site to be able to lay down the pipelines. So we had the order. In many cases, we also kept the stock ready, but they would not give us the clearance. And secondly, I think the state government diverted all their funds for fighting COVID, so they were not able to pay to their contractors, as a result of which they would not supply anything at site until their old payments are cleared. So it was a combination of a lot of things actually. But I'm glad to tell you that things are coming back to normal. As you can see, in Q3, we have been able to recover significantly, and I do believe in Q4 we should at least come to pre-COVID period.
Mr. Jain, would it be fair to say, just based on the explanation that you've given, that there's a certain amount of pent-up demand that could actually be there in the system, so that as things kind of normalize, you may see a couple of quarters of kind of even higher than normal growth because of the pent-up demand, or is that not really what you're seeing?
No, you're right, absolutely. Though many people have not recognized it, but there was a pent-up demand, so suddenly the demand went up, and therefore there was a gap between demand and supply. And as the supply has grown now in the meantime, you are finding that customers are still waiting for things to clear up to their customers and in turn the actual user. So in certain areas, we would see the demand slowing down as the pent-up demand gets cleared up. But in our segment, I would like to think that it should really grow further. Reason being that a lot of companies have now started buying, and I'm talking about overseas customers. They now prefer to buy their chemicals or inputs from India rather than going back to China. And again, a lot of multinational companies, they have diverted some of their products from China over to India, and they are servicing their international or Asian customers from India. So that should actually increase the demand for packaging. Yeah.
Okay, great. Just secondly, I just wanted to understand on our core kind of business of plastic drums, where we used to have the very dominant kind of a 65-70% plus market share. Has anything changed in terms of the domestic market dynamics? Any new player has come in? Has anyone been able to gain market share? Or are we still as dominant as we used to be?
No, we are absolutely as dominant as we were. We haven't lost customers. But you would now see that, in the former time, everything was being done in drums. There have been a change, especially for exports, where they use intermediate bulk containers. So you would find that the demand that could have increased in terms of the drums probably is being diverted over to intermediate bulk containers. We have seen significant growth in the demand for intermediate bulk containers. And if these international companies, they come to India and try and export their products to Europe or Middle East or even Asia, that would again be in IBCs. Therefore, the growth will be captured by the IBCs, and drums will continue to have their regular growth of 4, 5, 6%.
Okay, and just to understand the competitive positioning in IBC, is that similar to drums, or is there a lower market share in that segment?
No, we are more or less the same actually. We have a dominant situation in IBCs. It's a highly technical product. Some people tried it with varied degree of success, but I would like to think that our market share will be well over 65-70%.
Okay, so that trend is actually positive for us because our margins will be higher on IBCs.
Right, absolutely. IBC is a value-add product for us, and we see ourselves getting better EBITDA margins in this business. Yeah.
Okay, great, perfect. Thanks for all the answers and wish you all the best. It's been a tough year, but hopefully we see a resumption.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Dipesh from Manya Finance. Please go ahead.
Yeah, congratulations on good set of numbers.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yeah, absolutely, Dipesh. Go ahead.
Yeah. Just wanted to know what is the sales contribution of the Type 4 composite cylinders CNC caskets?
Type 4 composite cylinder sale, you want to know the numbers?
Yeah, I want to know what are the sales in this quarter?
Yes, I can tell you the total number, the total value was about 54 crores in this quarter.
4 crores?
54 crores, 54.
54 crores.
That's right.
Okay. And what are the margins we worked on?
Well, in composite cylinders, we do about 19 to 20%.
19 to 20%. Okay. Also, I couldn't see in the investor presentation the major OMCs as a client list. So, are we still in talks with them? Have we received any orders from the OMCs like IOC, HPCL, BPCL?
Our talks to them is exactly the same way as the Ministry of Agriculture and the farmers. We have been in discussions with them uninterrupted, but oil marketing companies, for some strange reasons, are still stuck to steel cylinder. We don't want to attach any motives to that, but it is highly unlikely that they will change over from metal to composite. However, we are very happy to supply our cylinders to overseas. We have approvals in more. We are supplying right now in more than 38 countries, and our product is approved in about 58 countries world over. So I'm sure as the demand for composite cylinder grows further across the world, we should really be benefited by that. We hope and pray one day the good sense will prevail upon oil marketing companies, and I guess it will come from the pressure that they will see from people. We just made a calculation from 2011 to 2019. Total number of people killed because of the cylinder explosion was 50,000.
Oh.
Now you can imagine how, and 92% of them were ladies and children. And I can tell you in UAE, there was only one accident in the last 3 years, and one person died. They are now planning to change over entire steel cylinder composites.
This data of 50,000 people has been in 2020?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
And in India?
In India alone, I'm talking about.
Okay. So are we planning to give any presentation to the Ministry of Petroleum or or the ministry? Because I think this government is quite, they listen to the industry.
We have reasons to believe there is some PIL which is being filed in Delhi High Court, saying that if there is a better alternative available, you see, in the former time, steel cylinders were only available. Now it was a balance between convenience with the LPG and the risk of the steel cylinder. They did it for many years because there was no other alternative available. Now composite cylinders are there for several years. They have been tried, of course, in India as well, and overseas, and they know that in many countries. Can you imagine Bangladesh, Nepal, Maldives? They have accepted composite cylinders. In Sri Lanka, they are coming out with a major tender for composite cylinders. India is the only country in between which has not adopted to composite cylinders yet.
But would it make sense to even approach the intermediaries like MGL, IGL, the ones who are actually supplying these gases?
We actually are talking about right now LPG cylinders, which is, you're right, OMCs are the biggest buyers, and they between them have 97% of the market share. We have gone and talked to them, there's no question. Hindustan Petroleum bought some 15,000 cylinders to seed market and get the response. But unfortunately, they did not pursue it. I believe the cylinders are still lying in their stockyards. Have not gone into the marketplace. We have heard that Indian Oil Corporation is now coming out with a tender. We don't know exact quantity, and they would be taking out this trial for all the oil marketing companies. And if this trial becomes successful, then probably other oil marketing companies will also follow them. But you can imagine if they all come together, and even if they divert 50% of their requirement to us, then we will have to multiply our capacity 3 times or even more.
Right. And when is this tender expected?
Raghu?
This quarter it should be coming.
We should be yeah. So we have helped them prepare the specification. We are expecting the tender to be in this quarter.
Okay. And what is the current order book for the CNG composite cylinders?
We would be about 1.3, 1.4 million.
In terms, can you quantify it in numbers?
Value of 1.2, 1.2 million. Not a lot. That'll be about 240 crores.
240 crores. Okay. Also, does any of our product come into the current PLI scheme?
Under?
Which the government has launched? The government has launched a different PLI scheme, the Finance Ministry. Does any of our product fall into that?
No, not that we are aware of, no.
Nothing. Okay. Just one last question about the tech pack, the smart cans.
Yes.
Whom are we? What industry are we targeting this product?
Raghu will like to answer this, please.
Well, this is a packing which will replace many of the plastic containers ranging from 1 liter to about 5 to 10 liter capacity. The case being that these containers that are being used are fairly heavy in weight and consume a lot of plastics which end up probably as waste. And using the smart concept of pack that we are talking about, the consumption of plastic will get reduced by almost about 2/3. So that's the kind of a case we have. We have customers who are using, like, for example, cleaning chemicals. You have companies like Diversity Chemicals or Hindustan Lever, or there are products like adhesives which include companies like Pidilite, etc. So there are, most of them are consumer products, and in addition to, of course, the lube oil also, which are dispensed by most of the oil companies by themselves.
Okay. Are we even targeting paint companies?
Paint companies are also there. It's a very widely usable product, and most of the companies have shown interest, but we are basically where the benefits are very great, and the performance are very straightforward advantages. So the rest of them will also fall in line. Paint is of course there. They are also talking about big numbers that will also come through.
Dipesh, there is a lot of emphasis on these multinational companies that they should reduce the consumption of plastic. And therefore, they would like to look for something which is as good as their jerry cans and other packaging, but at the same time use lesser plastic. As Raghu told you, that the reduction in weight is about 66%. So therefore, it is straight the use of plastic getting reduced. So they have shown a lot of interest because they have certain obligations which they would be able to fulfill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I understand is the reduction of weight is around 6%, but the reduction of use of plastic is huge.
66%.
66%. Okay, that's great. Great. Thanks a lot. If there are any other questions, I'll come back in the line.
All right, thank you.
All the very best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Mahendra Jain from V2 Wealth. Please go ahead.
हेलो
How are you, sir?
सर आपका आशीर्वाद है सर कैसे हो सर भरत जी कैसे हो सर
बढ़िया गुड
बस सर मेरा सर आई जस्ट वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड अगेन सीएनजी और ये एलएनजी का जो बसेज और ट्रक का जो हमारा लाइक व्हाट वी आर प्लानिंग अराउंड 2024 और लाइक that. So how we are approaching towards that thing, and how we are preparing or any orders regarding that. Second question is regarding, sir, we are really seriously thinking about any demerger in value-added business or something. At what point we can think of that? So, because it can really enhance the value of this market cap and everything.
Right. Absolutely. Mamaji, I really appreciate your query about this one. Let me just explain it to you two ways. There is LPG, the one that you get at home for cooking. It comes in cylinders, and mostly those are steel cylinders.
Correct.
Go to CNG. Now, normally LPG is a low pressure because it operates at 20 bar and it can burst at 66 bar. But when it comes to CNG, the CNG operates at 200 bar and it has to withstand the pressure of about 470 bar for on-board application. In the caskets, the pressure is 750 bar. What we have done is we have prepared the cylinder, which has also been approved from TESO, for caskets first. The caskets are very much in demand, and the government has decided to increase the number of gas stations from where CNG would be available. As a result of that, there will be a lot of caskets required to bring CNG from the mother station to the distribution point. Right? So we are able to now give a casket which is made out of type 4 cylinder, that is no metal, right, and it can withstand a very high pressure, right? And because the weight being less, again the same thing here, the weight is reduced by almost 80%, right? So the advantage of that is that with the same weight they are able to carry lot more CNG than what they were doing in steel cylinder.
Sir, my question was that I understood this thing. Sir, what is the situation of order or anything like got clearance and everything like that? And second is LNG part for trucks and all this I am talking about, sir, not LPG.
No.
LNG.
So, CNG, no, I'm coming to that one. CNG, we have just got the approval and we have started getting the orders. I think we have, how many caskets? 12 caskets. We have got order of 12. How many caskets? Right. So we have got the orders for about 20 caskets and then some cylinders. We have not started looking at LNG because LNG requires a different kind of cylinders, cryogenic. But government though is talking about LNG as a fuel, but they still are not geared up fully for that. So I'm sure as they come closer to using LNG, we will be having the cylinder for that as well.
Okay, sir. Sir, and regarding, sir, any thought about, sir, demerging in at some point of time, like at any, like once CNG business pick up or something like that?
Not quite, actually. Yes, we have decided that certain businesses we will exit, and we are preparing in this direction. But demerger is not really on cards just yet. Probably at some stage we might carve out our high pressure business and then see if we have to look for someone to take that business or partner with us.
Okay. Sir, regarding MOX film, sir, any new products in development? How is it doing like?
The MOX film is as usual. We are because of COVID, the distributors etc. have been lying low, but things are now limping back to normal. I guess we should, with quarter 4 included, we should be about 10. We should still be about 100 crores in terms of revenue.
Okay. And sir, any capex idea next year or year or two like?
No, this year we curtailed our capex to only 100 crores. Up till Q3 we have done only 62 crores. So probably we may not even consume all 100 crore. Next year we will first watch how things are panning out and then we'll take a call probably by next conference as to how much should be the capex. But it will be absolutely need-based.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I apologize. Bharat and Raghu will take further questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rasmi Koja from Kotak Securities Limited. Please go ahead. Mr. Oja, may I request you to please go ahead with the question? Mr. Oja, may we request you to please unmute yourself if muted from your handset?
Sorry, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So my question was on the EBITDA margin, sir.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at your quarterly presentation, last year 9 months and this year 9 months, there is no difference between the EBITDA margins of your polymer products and composite products. And as per the earlier conversation, you said that IBCs generate higher margins, composite cylinders generate higher margins. So what is the reason for, value-added or composite products not generating higher margins for the company? And going forward, how do you see this changing?
As far as I think this current year 9 months result concerned, there is a EBITDA margin in the 9 month is 12.60%. In Q3 it was 13.51%. You see there is a little down compared to previous year 9 months because of fixed expenses, and which in the initially Q1 there was a 2-month lockdown period, the business was not there. As is, we have seen that the business was 475 crores only. But as the original standard we can say margins are in the EBITDA margin in the range of 14 to 15%. Last of the whole of the year it was around 14%. So this year as a whole of the year we are expecting to achieve in the business of around 13%. But we should come back with the original margin the next year. But especially value-added products margins are concerned, yes, the EBITDA margin in value-added products are in the range of 18 to 20%.
No, but as per your presentation, the composite product EBITDA margins are, like for example, last year 9 months were the polymer product margins of 14.3 and
other
14.3.
What happened, if you see value-added and if you see polymer and composite, in composite what happened, you will see composite is not as a value-added product only. I'm clarifying. Composite product is inclusive of the steel drum, okay, where the EBITDA margins are in the range of 6 to 7%.
Okay.
Battery segment comes under the composite, where the EBITDA margin is 11%.
Okay.
That is auto components also it is there. So business is not there in the last this because of COVID in the first 9 months.
Okay.
These are the reasons. Otherwise, product, yes, margins are higher also.
Okay. Gentlemen, it's maybe from next time onwards, if you can give us a little breakup of what constitutes valued products and what could be the
yes,
margin.
yes. We I think noted your suggestion. We will provide you. Composite products, we have mentioned that composite products inclusive of the IBC, steel drums,
yes, sir.
business, and cylinder, batteries, auto products, and steel drums. These are the major. But major contribution which comes from the steel drums and this batteries, which is little down business, down EBITDA margin is there. Therefore, the composite product EBITDA is lower. But definitely we can provide we'll mention separately for the composite product revenue separately.
Thank you, sir. That was helpful. Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Jigar Shah from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, I wanted to ask a question on the growth in the month of January. So how are things right now as compared to last quarter?
Sorry, I'm in fact I cannot provide you the January figure month on month. We used to provide quarterly figure, but as Mr. Jain has mentioned, and I am also mentioning you that quarter on quarter there is a improvement in the business, and as the overall guidelines we have given that this current year we should do 75 to 80% business revenue of the previous year, and we are in that line working out. So exactly month to month revenue I cannot provide. Of course, this quarter is better than this quarter will be better than Q3. That's only I can say.
And also on whether domestic business is doing better or overseas is doing better. What is the capacity utilization of both?
The overseas business is already over because we are always 1 quarter lag between the India business and the overseas business. In my Q4, you will find the revenue of October, November, December overseas business and January, February, March Indian business. So definitely because of the overseas last quarter means our Q3 is their Q4. So I think definitely last quarter always better than the previous quarter. So of course business in India and overseas both is picking up now. As far as packaging business, we have seen Chemical business is growing in India. Most of the business are expanding. Chemical industry is also actually good growth because our packaging is used in food product, FMCG, oil companies, specialty chemicals. Variety of the chemicals are used under this packaging, and that is growing in India. You must have seen this is visible, and it is from the all chemical companies which are getting a growth of more than 10%.
Right.
As the chemical industry grow, we will also grow along with that.
Also, sir, in US, you recently last year opened new plants for IBCs.
Yes.
So, how are they doing currently, and what is the outlook for FY22 on IBCs? As Mr. Anil Jain said that more and more people are shifting from drums to IBCs, and what would be the Q3 growth in IBCs, and what is the outlook?
In fact, I tell you, I think as far as US business is concerned, you are right that we have put up the plant. Initially, we had a plant in Chicago and Houston. Now another plant which was starting in August, September, somewhere for Iowa plant. Now, definitely the sales, if you ask me the specific US region is concerned, the growth will be higher there. There may be the growth of 30-50% growth will be there. But other countries, overall overseas growth, we are also expecting around 15% volume as well as revenue in the year 2021. And in India, yes, the IBC business is definitely mainly people are preferring for the export packing because the handling is reduced. Because if you compare, make a 200 liter drum and 1000 liter IBC, is the 5 product required in handling when the people are exporting in the drum. Instead of that, they will handle the one IBC. IBC is becoming more popular, and in fact, I just would like to tell you that we manufacture packaging product overseas. We don't have any other product in overseas. We do plastic jerrycan, drums, conical pins, and IBC. These are the overseas products. In India also, all products we do that. So definitely IBC growth will be higher than the drum growth. Drum growth, maybe we can expect 10-12%, but IBC growth we can expect around 15% in India and overseas both put together.
Okay. And sir, any outlook on pipes segment, as this year pipe segment did not do much because of the government.
As I also mentioned you, that pipe business definitely chances are very good in 21-22. As in budget, this 2021 February budget, government is also putting more expenditure on infra, which infra is the road and all other activities, smart cities development. So the pipe mainly used for water, sewage, drainage and power duct line. So we are you have seen, I think I have heard the commentary from L&T. Now you see how business they are expecting. They are also expecting very good business in the period ahead, especially in 21-20. Next 3 years must be very good as far as infra business is concerned. This year, pipe has not done because of this government's payment delay in the payment. Because clearance of this clearance in the project is also delayed by the government intentionally, and because of the COVID, there was the management people, the site people were not available. But now situation is improving, and definitely we are expecting good level of the business in the period ahead as far as pipes are concerned.
Okay. And sir,
investment itself, we can do business of around 400 to 450 crores in pipe itself.
Next year?
Yeah, of course, because currently we are already 40-50% we are doing business. So definitely we have a good headroom available for the pipe business in the period ahead.
So this year we are expected to do how much in pipes business, sir?
Maybe around, all put together, maybe around 160 to 70 crores.
So from 160, 170, you are expecting it to go back to 400?
50 to 4. Of course, it is available now because capacity is available. Today you have seen suddenly the polymer prices have also jumped up. So every EPC contractor is going to government for revision in their prices. Because every EPC contractor has submitted request government because of the steel and polymer prices increase. So they have to need the revision in their overall cost, which we have talked, most of the EPC contractors. They are under discussion with government. Even you heard that statement of Mr. Nitin Gadkari, how he will do the infrastructure project when the steel is increased from 50 rupees a kg to 70 rupees a kg, 45% jump in the steel prices. So every every infra project is affecting because of this sudden price increase. But we know that it's a temporarily, and I think as it's a pandemic, this demand has come out, and it should be regularized in the period ahead.
Okay, great, sir. Great. And sir, lastly on CNG casket business, Mr. Anil Jain mentioned that you have got an order of 20 caskets.
Yeah.
So how does that get converted into value and?
I tell you the simple.
Yeah.
20 casket, one casket value is around 60 lakhs rupees.
Okay.
So 60 casket, 20 casket equivalent to around 10-12 crores.
Okay. And sir, going forward, how much orders are you expecting considering the recent government plan to increase CNG?
I will tell you the figure, you will stand up from your chair.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the government has given the two directions. One is the 10,000 mobile station, 7,200 mobile station in the next by 2024. Another, Mr. Narendra Modi Sahab has also announced 10,000 CNG filling stations. And one thing, just ballpark figure I am telling you, 10,000 filling stations, every station needs 3 cascades. One always should be made available at this, one in the transit, one another at the production level of the gas. So it's a very large market. If you worked out in terms of the figure, taking this cascade of 60 lakhs rupees, it's worked out around more than 10,000 crore business is there in the next 6 to 8 years time.
And sir, you are the only player in composite.
If you are in composite product, world over, there are the two companies, Ragasco, and we are in India. India, we are the only one who got this approval. But the other products of this, CNG cascade available is the metal cylinder. But the advantage of composite cylinder is more because of the running expenses per liter gas is very less in this.
Right.
And in this, Mr. Raghupati will also clarify more because he look after directly under this project as the new product ongoing is there.
Okay. And sir, so how many players are there involved in CNG steel metal cylinders apart from you as a composite cylinder?
On the metal cylinder, you have barely about 3 to 4 players, the likes of TKC, Rama Cylinders, etc. They are the ones who are making traditionally metal cylinders for CNG, which are called as the Type 1 cylinders.
Okay.
But because of the fact that they are extremely heavy and the fluctuation in the steel prices that they have taken, they are going through a difficult situation in terms of being able to meet the demand as well. There are technological developments that have taken place in terms of offering lighter weight cylinders. They are the Type 3 and Type 4. Type 4 consists of a metal liner and Type 4 is the one which we make. So Type are imported into India from Europe, and Type 4 also there have been 1 or 2 cases of import of such caskets into India. We have been able to get the PESO approval for Type 4 cylinders, and we have got initial orders for almost about 20 odd caskets. It's a very simple, straightforward case for the CGD companies to adopt these CNG cylinders because they are able to transport 2 times more gas and get a faster payback, etc. So, as Bharat said, the upside is there very large, and the manner in which the CGD contracts are being given out by the government, this being the 9th and the 10th round has also been given out, the 11th round is under preparation. So, we are able to see a good upside as well on that.
So, can you just throw a number approximately what kind of orders are we looking at from the government on this front over next 1 year, and in the mix metal and composite cylinder, how much will be given to composite and how much will be metal cylinders?
As I mentioned to you, market is very big. If we see to the next 5 years plan, we can say, definitely this business can reach in the level of 1,000 to 1,500 crore in the next 5 years time, considering the market demand is there. And this market demand will be fulfilled by the CNG cascade made from the steel and CNG cascade from the composite cylinder.
Okay. Okay, sir.
The whole market is there. Now we also will see how it is coming up, shape up, and definitely internally we are targeting to achieve get the good share of the business from these new products.
That's great to hear, sir. Sir, how much debt reduction you mentioned?
It's already done
the quarter?
3 crores in 9 months, but debt reduction is not an agenda of our this thing. Our major agenda is to improve the ROC in the next 3 years' time. We should reach the ROC of 20%. And that is possible by way of an increase in the sale of the value-added products, increase in the margin expansion, increase in the capacity expansion, decrease in the working of the cycle time. These are the 3-4 areas where we are very closely working. And definitely we are trying to achieve that we should have a target we kept the internal target of ROC in the next 3 years' time.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sahil from KIFS Trade Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, thanks for taking my questions. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah. So my first question was related to working capital days. What are the current working capital days?
So current working capital cycle is, in fact, normally our working capital cycle was in the range of around 90 days, but during this COVID period it is increased by 15 days. Again, we are expecting to come back on the original level in the next year in 21-22, because current year working capital cycle time is why it is not comparable because of COVID-19. Some of the EPC contractor also we have to take money, and in other some of the products also, for example, we are targeting to reduce because of this COVID. I can say the average credit period to the customer normally it is 65 to 70 days, but again it is increased by 25 to 30 days because of this COVID. And I think as government is also liberalizing, government bankers is also liberalizing to give some kind of more comfort to some of the customers who have been affected by COVID-19. So I think working capital cycle time should improve in the year 21-22.
By when? In first half or like?
In the first half we can expect something, but entire year we will come back on the original level of 85 to 90 days.
Okay. And any update on EY restructuring report?
Update, yes, time to time it is coming, and we are also updating you because it's a long, I think, number of the assignment have been given to them. And partly, as last time also we had mentioned, that they have studied, because one thing I am clarifying you, they are not able to go to physically inspect the unit because of this COVID. Even they are required to go to my overseas location also, which is not currently practicable. But by sitting home, work from home, they are doing a study, and based on our data, they are suggesting us. They had suggested long back to exit from this battery business. In any case, in that direction, we have already taken the step. We have merged one of the step-down subsidiary, Powerbill Batteries, in NAD Energy. So one direction already we have taken. Another one of my subsidiary, TPL Plastic, had one step-down subsidiary, Ecotech Lifecycle Green. That also we have merged with TPL to take the advantage of the consolidation and to use the same kind of the infrastructure. And further, they have suggested to exit from the business of medical small business we had. That also we have decided, and to use that machines available for my injection molding packaging products, which is conical pails where we manufacture already. Another, they have suggested to exit from the molded furniture business. We are working on that line. In any case, you know the current prices of the polymer is also increased, especially PP prices increased much higher. So furniture business itself is not viable in the current scenario, and we also not very interested because we are also reducing now, and we are in the business of B2B. Yes, these 2-3 suggestions we have accepted, and we are working on that. And further, yes, when they will study further, and we will update you to all our valued investors.
Any timeline for unpledging the shares? Because I think it's a long pending issue.
No. I think I have provided in the last week also. I think you remember that total share pledge was around 17%. The loan was 70 crores, which has reduced to 35 crores, and pledge have been also reduced to 10.5%. And as again, yes, management has kept target, as I think pledge of the shares will go out as we able to dispose of the property, which is under the subject, and that we are under discussion. We are also waiting, and I think you will also agree that in the last 2 months market is improving. Real estate sector, especially commercial and residential market is improving. We expect, I think, this market should improve in the second half of this current financial year. And I think we are also keeping ourselves target, even though internally target we had kept earlier, we had kept the target to release by March 21, but I think it is delayed because of this COVID-19. But next year, definitely I am expecting to get it free.
Any update on this property sale? How much value you can get?
So interest is coming, people come, but again they have to go working out their economic viability. They are also watching it now. You have seen that government has reduced the premium because from 1st of the January. So again everything they are revising now. So every time every changes make them more interesting. So on January government has reduced even this municipal corporation of Mumbai have reduce the premium of the premium. So they will more. So we are also waiting because the percentage is already reduced. Loan amount is already 1/2. And we are also internally targeting that if property goes, that's whole. Otherwise, by way of a dividend or earning from these other companies, we will be able to pay off in the, I think my internally target I am keeping to the place free by March 22.
What is the total expected value of that property, and if we are able to realize that money, then we will be able to fully earn pledge our shares?
Yeah. Other property value is around 70 to 80 crores. Even some surplus should be there. Already valuation report is available. There is no question. You can have a construction of around 200,000 square feet on that plot. It's on the prime land of the main area.
And what is the current cost of capital, borrowing cost, interest rate?
Around 9.25% combined together.
Including LC charges, everything?
Around 50 basis points every year, because bankers are also passing on after completion of the year, after reduction by RBI. So we are also looking that there is some benefit is coming around 50 basis points in the lending rate.
By when?
Pardon, please?
By when? By when you are expecting that reduction in rate of interest?
Cost of the total, I think, will go down. For last year, my cost of the total finance cost was around 110 crores somewhere. Definitely, this year it will be below than 100 crores. And definitely next year, in spite of business increase will be there, and it will be within that limit only. Of course, banks are not into one particular timeline. Every bank in their renewal, they are providing benefit of 25 to 50 basis point benefit they are passing on.
And finally, any guidance for next year in terms of revenue margin and capex?
In fact, I mentioned in the beginning itself, this year we are going to achieve revenue by 75 to 80% of the previous level. Previous level means we have seen the gross revenue, net revenue was 3,600 crores. So definitely we expect that business in the 21-22. EBITDA level will come back to original level, which is 14.5% is there. 14 or 14.5% around, that should also come back. So it's the next year only we are talking about.
And what about capex?
Capex wise, as I think Mr. Jain has mentioned, normally capex earlier was you go back to apart from current year, there was in the average of 200 crores. But definitely next year only the brownfield expansion and the value-added product need-based capex will be done. And I think it will be in the range of 125 to 150 crores only.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dipesh from Manya Finance. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a follow-up question. That since we are not getting current orders from the OMCs, the Indian OMCs, are we looking at directly tying up with companies like Maruti for CNG fittings in the cars, or maybe Tata Motors which for buses?
Yes, there is a mixing of topic, if I may say, Manish. First of all, we talked about OMCs not coming forward to buy cylinders.
It's for LPG.
Whereas the one that we are talking about, Maruti and others, they are basically the one that is used for CNG.
CNG, yes.
You are very right. As I said very clearly, having obtained the approval from PESO for CNG cylinders, the first range of orders have started coming in from some of these government OMCs themselves, who are the beneficiaries of, are also playing the role of a CGD operator. and they have placed the orders for CNG caskets, etc. And obviously, the approval for the CNG cylinders for onboard is also been, the tests have also been completed. There also, the approval is also around the corner, and that would mean that this would also open the door for applications for the CNG cylinders with the automotive companies, where they will replace steel cylinders for CNG use as well. There are already talks are there in an advanced stage with most of the OEMs who would want to use the CNG because they are able to see a large benefit, and some of these bus manufacturers who are currently not in a position to use CNG very effectively because of the very heavy weight of the CNG cylinders, they are all there strongly in the pipeline, and going forward we should be able to see those orders coming in very easily.
So, as what I get, are we expecting orders from also Indian OMCs for CNG cylinders?
No, I'm just telling you one thing. LPG is used by the gas distribution company, and LPG is a government like that Barsan and IOCL, BPCL is there, private gas company, Go Gas is there, Reliance is there. That is called LPG cylinder. Mr. Raghupati has clarified you CNG cylinder is a two-type CNG for gas, CNG gas packing, that is the CNG cascade complete. And CNG on board is the automotive sector which will supply directly to OEM and in the secondary market also.
You are also right. There are CGD companies run by the OEMCs. For example, Indian Oil has a joint venture with Adani Gas. So Indian Oil, Adani is into transportation. They would be the buyers of CGD caskets. There are companies like BPCL has floated a couple of joint ventures such as Bhaginagar Gas and ABCD. They have a couple of them that are there. So they are in fact OEMs also, and they are the ones who are placing orders for this CNG caskets.
Okay.
These are already material.
Are we getting orders from MGL and IGL also?
Yes, talks are there in an advanced stage. We are in a position to really confirm to you that they are very much in the pipeline.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashi Anand from IME Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hey, thanks for the follow-up.
Yeah.
Mr. Vaghela, I just want to understand the CNG opportunity a bit better. So first of all, on the CNG gasket part.
Yeah.
So there were certain kind of reasons why it's difficult to kind of break into the OMC market on the LPG cylinders. Given the fact that there are more private players in the CNG distribution side, and also some of the public-run companies are relatively newer, would it be fair to say that kind of getting a higher penetration in CNG gaskets versus in metal gaskets should be a lot easier than what we face with the OMCs, and therefore this large opportunity that you're talking of, we should be able to capitalize quite well on that?
Yes, this is you are right actually. In LPG, the government distribution is a major share having here. But as far as CNG is concerned, the private gas companies are there. In addition to that, in this gas distribution done by the private company, and some private, this logistic company are providing services to CNG manufacturing company. For example, Gujarat Gas, Indraprastha Gas. These all companies, they give the...
But yes, as you said very rightly, it is easier for us to get breakthroughs with the government companies as well, because the range of companies operating are both private and government, and they are able to obviously move faster to keep pace with what's happening in the industry. And that's easily reflected by the fact that within a couple of months of getting the PESO approval, orders for CNG caskets have already been taken up.
Okay, and just to kind of understand the major benefits of the CNG gasket over the metal gasket is one, safety, and secondly, it's lighter to transport, right? Those will be the primary benefits?
Yes, I'll tell you traditionally, as you said, it's being used in type 1 or steel cylinders, and a truck can carry about 4,500 liters only. Whereas when they use a type 4 or the composite gas cylinders, they can do close to about 9,000 odd liters of CNG. So you can carry 2 times more at almost the same or reduced cost. So obviously your operating cost comes down by half. That's a phenomenal advantage they're able to see. And secondly, because of the fact that the cylinders are much lighter, you will be able to travel a longer distance. So the reach of the CNG gas becomes much farther, and you can reach more larger destinations. If you really look around in Indian scenario today, you have the maximum CNG distribution in and around Delhi because that was made mandatory. Subsequent growth of the CNG stations in other parts of the country were limited because overall usage and availability was also limited. But now with the new pipelines, etc., that are being rolled out by the current government, and the government also having taken a very aggressive stand of growing the CGD stations to about 10,000 of them in the next 8 to 10 years, the availability of CNG will multiply, and that would mean that these CNG stations that are required to dispense them will also required to be multiplied. And for these stations to operate, they would need these cylinders very much.
And how much more expensive would the composite or in terms of the capex costs for the gas station? How does the composite gasket compare to the metal gasket?
It's almost this composite cylinder will be costed by 30 to 40%.
30 to 40%, but the payoff, the payback is faster because of the operation.
Yes.
Okay. And if I may, I just also wanted to understand the automotive kind of CNG opportunity. Do we already have all technical approvals in place? As in, how far are we from being able to roll out automotive CNG cylinders? And how large is that opportunity?
Well, all the tests for the automotive CNG cylinders have been completed. The third-party tests have been done. Officially, the tests have given a very clear green go-ahead signal. The documentation works have been done. I guess probably it will not be out of place to say that we would be able to get this approval anytime this quarter. So we are only, as I mentioned earlier, talks are also in advanced stage with some of these automotive companies for use of CNG composite cylinders as well.
And how large would this market be?
Maybe if you say me the next 5 years' time, maybe of around 400-500 crores worth of the business.
Okay, so great. And just lastly, Mr. Vaghera, you had kind of mentioned that ROC improvement is one of the core kind of focus areas, yes. ROE, ROC focus.
Yeah.
Just wondering, now that we've reduced debt to a reasonable extent, can we consider a buyback, given the fact that valuations have been kind of low for a long period?
Yeah.
So is that kind of up for consideration?
No. As I mentioned to you, because of this margin expansion, which especially currently is affected because of COVID. But again, in the period ahead, as we are adding the value-added product like CNG for automotive, CNG for cascade is improving. Other product, value-added product like MOX film will come back to their original business level. LPG cylinder come back to their original level. The earlier, in fact, you know that my ROC was in the range of 14.5 to 15%, except this COVID period. But then the next year's time, definitely these three factors will help us. Some kind of the disposable of some unused assets or which we have decided to exit in the next two years' time, like for battery business, reduction in the working capital cycle time, value addition, margin, all will contribute in the increasing the ROC in the next 3 years' time.
Okay, so would we say, to, at least at this point, we're not considering a buyback?
So buyback, we can see the later part, not now. Not now, I cannot, because this normal period should come back. First, we should achieve the business growth, whatever is there. Because promoters are currently, you know, that having almost 51.1% equity is there. And we are not worried about the equity part. We would like to capture the business which is available in the market and increase the value of the investor.
Okay, sure. Excellent. Great. Thanks a lot, Mr. Vaghera. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rusmik Oja from Kotak Securities Limited. Please go ahead.
So my first question was, today, what is the utilization levels of the key products of the company? And as of today, if we had to run this business at optimum utilization, what could be the revenue of the company? And going forward, if after the brownfield expansion, if we are running the capacities at optimum levels, then what could be the potential revenue?
I tell you, as far as execution is concerned, which is current year, as I think if utilization is talking current year or current period, we can say around 60%. product to product as a different. For example, pipe, yes, utilization is 50% because of COVID. Packaging is maybe the 70%. But if you want to understand what my existing investment can give me the revenue, of course, it can give me the revenue of around 4,000 crores. All the products put together and all utilization at 90%. But you know that brownfield expansion at the different locations required to do that. And we are not considering the new product which is under, as we have discussed about the CNG. We are not talking for automotive and CNG for cascade. That we are not considering in our this business revenue. But yes, as you know that last year my utilization was around 82% in India, and overseas was around 75%. But of course, yes, we can do the business of 4,000 crores with the existing investment what we have.
Okay. And my second question, sir, was this year, we had revenue of 631 crores in the composite product segment. And out of the 631 crore, how much will be steel drums as a absolute amount in terms of rupees crore?
Steel drum contribute, it is only hardly because it's come, I think in 2001, the 2-month business was not there. Around 60 to 70 crores business is the steel drums.
Okay. Because earlier in the question you mentioned is that because steel drums contribution is very less, in terms of EBITDA margin, that pulls down the entire EBITDA margin.
Product is in the range of 6 to 7%, and that is a joint venture company where Time Techno owns 49%. We take the joint venture business, and then 49% only take under revenue. So 49% business we take it in the range of around 70 crores.
Okay. And lastly, if you can help us, sir, in terms of stacking, if you can just tell us which is the highest contribution product in terms of EBITDA margins and the top 3 products, what is the EBITDA margin?
Just give you the highest my product, give me the packaging product, right? Packaging which is almost 70% of my total revenue, which we do 30% overseas, 40% in India. And there I can say the EBITDA margin is in the range of 13 to 14.5%, packaging business. Okay. Then other businesses, for example, auto sector and other value-added product, IBC is there. IBC is almost 10% of my total revenue in IBC, which is included in the packaging product. There the EBITDA margin is in the range of 15 to 16%, I can say. But value-added product, higher margins are there, which the company has developed, like composite cylinder, MOX film, whatever value-added product other we have, their margins are in the range of 18 to 20%.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Cylinder, of course, will come under the value-added product because it is a highly technical product and company is developed by the hard working of last 3 years. Company was doing R&D for last 3 years for the CNG cylinder and finally succeed now.
Okay. That was helpful, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Manchanda, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, Manish.
Yeah, sir. First of all, many congratulations for the results which you have shown.
Thank you.
Excellent improvement.
We will have a lot of cheers in the future ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to ask one question. Are there any steps taken by the company for decreasing the debt levels right now, what we are having of 809 crores that Mr. Anil Jain has said?
As I mentioned, company management has given the 4 guidelines. Debt should not be more than 2 times of the EBITDA.
Yes.
We are working out to get the ROC in the 3 years time, 20%, right? So
okay.
I'm not worried. As a debt servicing debt, we are getting 9% and we are internally keeping target of 10% more than the rate of the interest cost. Rate of my ROC when I'm keeping 10% more than the debt cost, then I think we should keep the target of ROC, not of the debt.
Okay, that's excellent. My another question is the capex. Is there any kind of a capex needed for the composite cylinders in the CNG segment, or do we have the existing facilities available to cater the market?
No. I tell you, there is 2 separate lines are there.
Okay.
CNG composite cylinder for LPG is completely different line.
Yes.
And because it is a small capacity, that cylinders are up to 20 liters, 26 liters capacity. Okay. And talking the CNG cylinder is a large capacity, 156 liters capacity. It's a very big cylinder. You need very big machines for that. So there is no comparison between this LPG and CNG. Both are the different. We have done our investment. We are manufacturing CNG currently, trying up some these initially orders what we are executing it. As Mr. Jain has mentioned that already we have received order and we are executing that orders. Definitely CNG, when the more business will come, when the large market will come, demand will come, definitely we will require the investment and that company will be able to do that.
That's excellent, sir. Sir, my next question is there any thought on the market of the healthcare industry also? Because right now we are catering CNG cylinders, composite cylinders. There is a huge demand for oxygen cylinders also and the propane cylinders also in the composite segment, as some of our competitors in the North American market are doing this.
Yes.
So is there any plan for our own company to get into the market?
Yeah. I think current lot of things we have to do in India only for CNG. Definitely from CNG line which we will set up, definitely we will able to manufacture the oxygen cylinders also. Because we don't develop the product looking to the current positions. Because for example CNG automation and CNG this cascade that we are working since last 3 years. And this oxygen cylinder shortage has come because of this COVID. But we know you will know that things will be over in the next 1 year time. Okay.
Yes.
So demand is already reduced. You know the demand is already reduced, but this CNG cylinder, of course, if demand will come, we'll see. Let's satisfy this automotive sectors and the cascade user.
And so my next question is, right now in the pipe segment, we are in a B2B business. Is there any plan to get into B2C business, sir?
No.
With more products on offering?
No. We don't want to go in PVC pipe. In fact, I tell you, we are in the PE pipe. Polyethylene pipe is a special grade material, and we manufacture pipe of the larger dia. I can say 100 mm to 1400 mm dia pipe we can manufacture, which is used for the water, sewage, drainage, and the power duct line. It is not for the residential use or that way. Yes, for the water management, you know that Ganga Clean Yojana, water supply Yojana, everywhere this pipe will be used. And up to every home that pipe will be used underground. But after in-house residential complex, what they use, there is the smaller PVC pipe. That we are not manufacturing. We have no any intention to go in that small pipe. It's a very, very big, means it's so many unorganized players are there.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's from my side. And many congratulations on your future ventures.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, as this was the last question for today, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Yeah, thank you very much to ICICI Securities team and all my valued investors, present and future, and to taking our time out of your busy schedule and understand the company's Q3 results. We definitely lot of things in the period ahead for the future growth. We all are in that line, and as we have mentioned, this pre-COVID level business will come in the next year itself. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you. On behalf of ICICI Securities Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your